الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين الذي جعلنا من المتمسكين بولاية أمير المؤمنين وأولاده المعصومين. الحمد لله الذي نور قلوبنا بأنوار المحبة العلوية وأكمل لنا ديننا بولاية المرتزبية وتم نعمته علينا بهداية الهيدرية. ونصلي ونسلم على سيد من خلق المؤمن الحق بالحق حبيب إلهنا وطبيب نفوسنا أبي القاسم محمد
صل على محمد
صلى الله عليه وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الهداة المهديين. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها تبيلا. صلوات بر محمد. Dear brothers and sisters in Iman, Assalamu alaikum. As I just heard Aslam Bhai mention a point, I would like to also, before we carry on with the topic of the lectures, is to tell you of an event that I heard from a Zakir. And he said one year he was invited to a Ashra Majlis, and it was in someone's house. They had quite a big house and they had put on a Majlis there for Imam Hussein. He said, when I went to this house, there was a hall like this, and similar, quite set up to this. There was a curtain in the middle of that hall. They had put the mimbar in the middle where the curtain was, so both the ladies could see the Zakir, reciter, and also the men could see it. So he goes, on the first day of the Majlis, we went in there. I said, what time do I go on the mimbar? They said, for instance, 7 o'clock. So he went up at 7 o'clock. He saw that there was only the man who was the owner of the house sat in the men's side, and there was only one woman who was his wife sat in the women's side. He recited his lecture and his member, and he came down. He said, maybe this is the first day, people have not heard about it, not been advertised properly. Normally the first couple of days in Majalis there's not that much crowd. So he said, no problem. Tomorrow we will try. So tomorrow he sat on the member again. Again, it was only the man and his wife. He said, well, such a big house, such a nice member, such a nice setup, for only 2 people. What's going on here? So he goes, when he finished, again he did his lecture, and you know when you don't have a crowd as such, you don't say your best material. You try to save your best for when there's a crowd, because you know the crowd help the people who are reciting and lecturing. They really help you. So he wasn't feeling it and he wasn't doing his best, and he said, and he felt bad about taking money from this guy for this sort of setup. So he said to him, listen, have you advertised, have you told people there's a Majalis? And he goes, why do you ask this question? He said, because listen, there's only me, you and your wife in this Majlis. And you're paying me for this? Are you happy to pay me for this? The guy who owned the house said to him, do you not see what I see? That's all he said to me. So he said, what does this mean? The next night, he went and sat on the member. When he looked down, there wasn't any space in the men for movement, and there was no space in the lady movement. Crowd upon crowd of malaika was sitting there. The guy who ran the Majalis was surprised at this question. He said, what do you mean there's nobody here? Can you not see what we see? This is the azamat of Imam Hussein. You see, it is not, you know, when I say this, our hadith, when our Imams speak, when our Holy Prophet speaks, this is Allah speaking. So when Imam says, when you come to the Majlis of Imam Hussein, tread very lightly, like on tiptoes when you're walking in. Why? Because the wings of the angels are farsha azab. You are stepping on the wings of the angels. Now we can't see. You see, we can't see Hazrat Zahra, like I said last night. She is 100% here.
Yes.
We can't see Imam Zaman 100% here. Just like I said on Thursday nights when you go to Karbala, Imam Sadiq says, do not enter the shrine of Hussein. But you see, we can't see. But the Imam says, don't go into the shrine on Thursday night. Don't go to Fajr. But do we understand these things? Why? Because this is the topic. We don't have the ilm and hikmah. We are jahil. Please don't get upset when I say this to you, because I am not saying this. Imam Zaman says this. Where does he say this? In Dua Iftitah. Farham abdikal jahil. Allah says, increase this knowledge from your ihsan. So my brothers and sisters, we don't know anything about Imam Hussein. I'm telling you now, we really do not know anything about Imam Hussein. We don't know anything about his setup. We don't understand what it means to be a khadim of Hussein, what it means to be even allowed to be sat here. We don't understand these things.
Subhanallah.
Inshallah, when Imam Zaman will come, inshallah, Ajalallah Ta'ala Farajul Sharif, he will then show us. We will get that knowledge, that increase in knowledge and ilm and hikmah. Then you will say to yourself, I wish I had done more for Imam Hussein. Wish I had done more. Salawat ala Muhammad. So as like I said, the topics have gone onto this. It wasn't my initial plan to talk about ilm and hikmah, but it's gone on to this because one of the questions I want to answer, which was asked by our dear listeners, is how did the Holy Prophet and A'immah spread the message of Islam? And I really think, especially nowadays, because there are lots of thieves out there, lots of thieves. I remember I had someone who was a friend of mine, he said every single sin is known as stealing. He said there's only one sin, and that is stealing. He said all the other sins are stealing under different names. Wow. When I think about it, he said, for instance, if you kill someone, you have stolen their life. When you backbite about someone, you have stolen their honor. So he said everything was stealing. But what I'm trying to say is, we are in a position now where they are stealing the minds of people. We always said that we are safe because we are safeguarded. These majalis is only set up for this purpose alone. Why do we have Ashra Majalis? Why do we go all the way to 40 days? Why do we go for 2 months and 8 days? Why? Because Islam says to spread the message of Ahlul Bayt, and these are the best opportunities for it. Because why? Because they are stealing our minds. And you will see now, my younger brothers and sisters, I don't know where the young guys have gone now, but the younger brothers and sisters will see this, that today, and alhamdulillah, this is in a way a blessing for us Shias, because the world is suddenly waking up and realizing that the Sunnis are the terrorists. And it is the Shi'as who are the peaceful ones. They are the Muslim ones. They're the ones that are being killed. And even more so, the event that happened in Sydney in Australia was the biggest glad tidings for us Shi'as. Because the person who was responsible was a Shia who was converted to Sunni, and from Sunni he went on to kill innocent people. And this was noted in every single news outlet. And it was actually the way it was written and the way it was broadcast was that it was amazing for us, because this guy was an Iranian cleric who had gone to Hawza. He was a Shia, so how is he carrying out terrorist act? Because this is not expected from the Shias. And they said no, it's because recently he had converted to a radical Sunni Islam. So this is what's happening. They are stealing our youngsters. If our youngsters don't come and learn the ilm and hikmah of Ahlul Bayt, they will also be drawn to ISIS and ISIL or whatever they want to call themselves. So don't think this is not going to happen to us, because it will happen to us. Because I've always said, this is why we say, learn your lessons from Karbala. Why? Because we look at Karbala, the people who killed their Imam Zaman were the Shias of their time. Do not get upset when we hear these things. Why do we get so upset when we hear they were the Shias of their time? Because even Imam Hussein called them Shias. Not his Shias, but he called them Shias. This was the title he gave to them. He said, Ya Shi'at Abu Sufyan. And you see, he uses the word on purpose. Again, look, this is coming from Allah, not from Imam, calling him a Shia. You see? And then we look at the person who has killed Imam Hussein. This guy, if you look at him and you want to add him up on paper, and if you wanted to give him a daughter, you would give him a daughter without questioning why. Because you look at his qualities. He had a beard, the sajda place on his forehead, he was hafiz Quran, he was known for praying the tahajjud prayers at midnight. Not only that, 16 times on foot he went on the Hajj pilgrimage. People would say that when he came to Hajj, he would hold the door of Kaaba, he would recite Quran so beautifully, he would cry so much that the people would leave their tawaf and stand and watch him cry, and they would cry with him and do munajat. This is the qatil of Imam Hussein. Who is to say that tomorrow I will not kill Imam Zaman? This is one of the things that worries me. This is why they say to us every morning recite Dua ya Ahad. Make your bay'at with Imam Zaman every morning. Because you could end up killing Imam Zaman. And what calamity for us that from our generation someone kills Imam Zaman. Can you imagine that? Again, you may say to me, how is this possible? Maybe not my son, maybe not my daughter, because we have had now hadith, the woman will kill Imam Zaman. So it could be my daughter, it could be your daughter. Why are we not being afraid of this, what I'm saying to you? This should shake you with fear. You may say, how is this possible? We will teach our children. Yet at the battle of Siffin, Malik Ashra and Amir al-Mu'mineen, they were messing around with each other, if you like two friends would. Malik said, oh Amir al-Mu'mineen, 4 hours we have been fighting. I have counted, I have killed about 500 of these people. You have only killed about 100. What is it, Ali? You can't keep up with Malik? They are joking, they're very close friends. He said, can't you keep up with Malik? Are you not as strong as me? And he said, what you did, you went and killed. But every time I went to kill, I saw that person I was about to kill, I saw 7th, 8th generation is a mu'min from him. So I left him. See, this is how our Imams work. This is how our Imams work. So this is why when they said Imam Hussein tried to save Shem at the very last second, he said, you have killed everyone. You have killed Abbas, you have killed Ali Asghar, you have killed everyone. Doesn't matter. I will still do shafa'at for you. Because this is how they work. This is the Mawla that I come and beat my chest for. This is the one I am prepared to give everything for that Mawla. So what is our role for this Mawla? Inshallah, in the other nights, I will say this, and honestly, I didn't want to even say this stuff that I've said, but this is what my Imam wanted. We are just tools in this system, They take us wherever they want to take us. Just let's just pray they don't kick us out. That's the only fear. That is the only fear, my brothers and sisters. It's the only fear that really keeps me awake at night. That they say to us, don't come back. This door is now closed to you, go back. When the Safina to Najat hits you off that ark, which other ark are you going to? Just like the son of Noah, are you going to go climb on top of the mountain and say, I'm going to be saved? There is no other safety. So my brothers and sisters, this knowledge, this hikmah, we have to make it our wajib duty. Why do I say wajib duty? Because this is our role for the government of Imam Zaman. One of the reasons, a lot of people says to me, and Aslam is a witness to this, but it doesn't matter if he's not a witness for me. Kafa billahi shaheeda, Allah is my witness, I don't need any other witnesses. But I get, people say to me, why don't you speak other places, Ashur Majalis? I do speak other places, but very, what we call out of the way Majalis, people where not, I like very khususi Majalis, where you feel very good. And they say, here you come every year to speak, and why here? First of all, I don't mind. People want to get paid to speak, and this is their livelihood, and may Allah increase their livelihood. But I myself refuse to accept money from anybody, because my Mawla, my Imam Hussein will give, because he is connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's the Khalifa of Allah. But Allah says, Ana Razzaq. This is the thing, but there's no problem with it. There's no problem with it. Even the Imams themselves, when they came, you will see Imam Reza says to that, they will come and recite the point for Imam Hussein. As soon as he's finished, he took the money and gave it to him. This is the seerah of Ahlul Bayt. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying there's wrong with getting money for it. But honestly, hand on this member Assam tonight, one of the reasons I come, sometimes he doesn't have to ask me, I say to him, can I come and recite? Why? Because of this word here, propagation. Whoever chose this name for this group of people chose a very good name, propagation. And this is our duty in the time of Ghaibat of Imam al-Zaman. And it's amazing, you know, sometimes like I said to you, and this kills me, you know, really hurts me. Because sometimes I feel the pain, you know, because you sometimes get phone calls. I had a phone call last Muharram from Australia. They said, will you come out and speak 10 nights Ashur Muharram in Australia? And I said, yes, inshallah, why not? So he said to me, okay, do you fly first class or business class? I said, well, in my life, I've only ever traveled economy. But if you're asking, then yeah, I wouldn't mind business class would be nice. So he said, okay, no problem, but only for yourself, not for your family, wife, or anything. I said, okay. And then he said, how much do you charge? And I said, what for? He said, for these 10 nights. I said, well, nothing. He said, you charge how much? I said, nothing. So he said, okay, you must not be very good. That was it, the phone went dead. Then I got a call from someone and I explained to him, I said, are you going to ask how much it was? I'm going to tell you from the beginning of the phone call so you don't. He said, no, next time I'm telling you something. When someone asks, puts a very high value, then we will start the bargaining from the top. So you say 20,000, 10,000, then we'll bring it down. This is the way it is, isn't it? Demands of first class travel, best hotels. Yeah, but this is the problem. This is the problem. When the khulus and ikhlas is not there. This is the problem. And alhamdulillah, tonight when this is a bit private, we can say this. But I don't have any fear of anybody. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And believe me, I mean, this is why sometimes it's difficult. This is why sometimes I bring the book. Because I don't say anything. Because first I look to see, do I act on what I'm saying? If I don't say, then I say, otherwise this job is not that difficult because you can say so many stories, there are so many things you can talk about, you can say, you know, do this, don't do this, eat this, don't eat this, wear this, don't wear that. But if I'm not doing it myself, then I don't say it because the Prophet says, and I believe what my Prophet says, because I take him to be a Rasul al-Ameen, that he says that whoever sits on these pieces of wood, known as a mimbar, because Imam Sajjad calls it pieces of wood, if you sit on it and you don't spread the knowledge of Allah Muhammad, it becomes pieces of wood. But when you sit on it, it becomes the member of Rasul. So when my Holy Prophet says to me that whoever sits on this and preaches to the people, but does not act on what he is saying, the first thing that will do la'nat on him in the day of judgment is these pieces of wood. I don't want to do this, you know, because I'm not getting paid to go to the hellfire and also going to curse me. So I'm not here to please people. So please, if I say anything over these few nights that seems harsh, it's the way sometimes you have to be very harsh with people to wake them up. Why do I say this? Because this is what Imam Hussein did at Karbala. When Hor stopped him, and then he said to Hor, give me some way out of this. Let me go here, let me go to Medina, let me go back to Yemen, let me go to Kufa. And he said, no. So he says, Sakalatka ummak. Some people say this, that this is Imam Hussein. This is not what we expect of an Imam to talk to someone like this. Yet I've always said this to my younger brothers and sisters, please pay attention to this. At the door of Imam Hussein, they don't want anything from you, believe me. And I've always said this before, that the door of Imam Hussein, there is no wajib act here. It is a door of love. And when it comes to love, there is no, what we say, me'yar, there is no measure, there's no tool, there's no, what we call hudud, there's no boundaries as to how much you have to spend, minimum or maximum, because it is love. Love is endless. So at the door of Hussein, so there's no wajib act, but there are some etiquettes. One of the main things you will see at Karbala that was unanimous amongst the 72 and the people that were accepted into Hussein was manners. If you didn't have this manner, you were not allowed to enter that 72. So when he said to her, Sakalatka ummak, may your mother grieve for you. He said to Imam, if I wanted to say anybody else who had said something about my mother, I would have said something to them about their mother. But how can I say something about your mother when your mother is Hazrat Zahra? So my younger brothers and sisters, this bad tongue is not for us. This is not a Shia quality. And I'm saying to you as well today, at the beginning I said, you see today what's happening with this ISIS thing and everything else. It is being now marked, the two camps are being marked very clearly for us again. Karbala is repeating itself again now. So we are now being marked into two separate groups, Shia of Amir al-Mu'mineen and Shia of Abu Sufyan. Or shall I bring it closer to our time? We are now being called the Shias of Mahdi, or the Shias of whatever they are called.
Yeah.
Because they change their name all the time. Whatever they want to be called today, whatever's fashionable. So if we are going to be the Shia of Mahdi, I'm going to say to you one thing, and again, talking very bluntly now. Either change your ways and be someone that will be called into the army of Mahdi. Or please, when they ask you what religion you are, just say I'm a Muslim, but don't then elaborate that you are Shia. Not. Because Imam wants someone, and this is why I said about this word propagation, because our main duty in this time is the propagation of the message of what? Allah? No. No. We're not here to propagate the message of Allah. What message are we here to propagate? Karbala. Why do I say Karbala, and why is this wajib in the time of Ghaybat of Imam al-Zaman? Well, very simply put, what does Imam al-Zaman do? What does every single ahadith from Shia say? That when Imam al-Zaman will come, inshallah, what would his first duty be? He will go to the Kaaba. Isn't that so? What will he do when he gets to the Kaaba? He will lean against the Kaaba. What does this mean in itself? He is saying, I am leaning against the house of God. I'm not turning my back on Qibla. Some people, unfortunately, a lot of sick-minded people in our community, they always want to pick something, they want to make problems with it. They say when Imam leans his back, you wouldn't put your back towards your father, or you wouldn't put your back towards Mimbar. So Imam is saying his back to God, so he's saying, I am better than God, therefore we don't. No. He is leaning to the Kaaba for support. He is saying, my backbone is the Kaaba. What is the Kaaba? What is the Kaaba? Have you ever realized what is the Kaaba? Why does... I haven't even managed this. But what is the Kaaba? Have you ever thought to yourself, why is the Kaaba? Qiblat al-Mu'mineen, is it? Or Qiblat al-Muslimeen, not even Mu'mineen, the Muslims. But why the Kaaba? Was the Kaaba the Qibla from day one? No. Where was the Qibla? Jerusalem. Masjid al-Aqsa. When Allah says in the Quran to the Holy Prophet, while he was praying towards Masjid al-Aqsa. So even the Prophet prayed that way. Allah sent Jibreel and turned him this way. Then what does God say in the Quran when he does this? He says, I have turned your face to a qibla that pleases you. Why would it please the Rasulullah? Because the Kaaba was full of idols. It is a pagan place. So why would it please the Holy Prophet? Because one day Amir al-Mu'mineen will be born inside this Kaaba. So what is Kaaba? Kaaba is a maternity unit for the birth of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Very simply put. This is the Kaaba. So Allah says to the Prophet, you are going to be pleased with this. Because I know the one thing that pleases you is Amir al-Mu'mineen. So now the Qibla of all the people, all Muslimin, all Mu'mineen have to face towards Ali ibn Abi Talib. So when they say to us, Allah said to Iblis, do sajda unto man. Why did God say do sajda unto man? Why you are doing sajda unto the Kaaba where Ali was born? This does not mean Ali is God. Please don't take these things wrong. I'm not saying Ali is God. No, astaghfirullah rabbi wa atubu. This is never this true. But what I'm trying to say is that look, this Kaaba is, as they say to us, the Wahhabis say to us all the time when you go there, Hada Hajar, Hada Hajar, Hada Hajar. They say, this is just a stone. It is true. It is a stone. Inshallah, maybe one night we will talk about the Kaaba. I will talk to you about the Kaaba and the ayahs in the Quran that go with it, then you will see why I say to you, it is just stone. It is just stone. Because this Kaaba has been demolished many times, and it has been rebuilt many times. You see, this is why I know when they say to us, oh, they are going to demolish the shrines, they're going to demolish shrines. They have demolished these shrines many times. We will rebuild again. This is our duty, we will rebuild. Of course, we will try to defend as best as we can. But if they do destroy, then we will rebuild. Because this wa'd of Allah is there to the day of judgment. You see? وَلَمْ يُخْلِفَ اللَّهُ بَعْدَهُ. Allah is trying to say that, look, I am not a liar. I promise you that whatever I promise, I will keep to my promise. Even Shaitan, when he made a promise to misguide everyone, he has kept his promise. Yeah? So when Hazrat Zainab says to Imam Sajjad on the 11th of Muharram, my dear Sajjad, there will be a time when there will be a dome built here. There will be a flag on top of this grave. There will be millions upon millions of people visiting this grave. Don't fear, don't grieve. This prophethood of Zainab will come to pass, and it has come to pass. You will see yourself. So never fear, because they will not be able to get rid of these things. You see, Allah says in the Quran, these people, they try to put out the light of God with their what? With their mouth. What are they doing? Isn't it? This is what Quran says. Right? If you have a candle and it's got a flame on top, how do you put it out? If that flame catches a curtain and it catches fire, if you then go and blow on that curtain, will it put it out? No. What happens then? If you blow on that fire, it will go higher. It will get stronger. Isn't that so? So, if it's a flame, easily, it will go out. But Allah says to His Imam and to His Prophet, إِنَّ فِي قُلُوبَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ لِلْحُسَيْنِ حَرَارَةٌ. Not a flame, harara. Harara means what? It means it's a fire that is burning. So let them blow on this light, let them blow on this flame, let them blow on this fire. Instead of putting out the light of Hussein, it will make it stronger to the day of judgment. So let them blow. Let them blow till they breathe their last breath. They will never succeed. They will never succeed. And my brothers and sisters, even if we are not there to help the Imam, there will be others in our place, because Allah says this in the Quran. If they don't want to help, I will bring better than them. Don't worry. But let's make sure we are in the Ansar al-Hujjah, which is the biggest honor that can be given to anybody alive. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to do what I was talking about, but like I said, this doesn't matter, this is their member. But because we talked about fire, you know, and we were talking about ilm and hikmah, and I said last night that the Sunnis say, we don't need anything else apart from Allah, hasbunallah. And they also say, hasbuna kitabullah, the book of Allah is enough for us. You know, one of the things, and this is again, my brothers and sisters, look at the similarities now between what ISIS are doing and what the enemies of Ahlul Bayt did. You will see the similarities. For instance, I remember reading recently in Iraq, when they captured an area, the first thing they did is they went into the libraries and they burnt all the books. There was a library there, I think it was one of the oldest libraries that was known to mankind. And some of the books in there were dated from maybe 2,000-3,000 years ago. They burnt all of them. Why did they do this thing? Because this is what their Khalif did. This is what their Imam did. The second one, when he went and captured places like Iran, when he did this, he went into the libraries and he told his people, burn these books. When Ali heard of this, he stopped him. He said, why are you burning these books? He said, because Hasbuna Kitabullah. We only need the book of Allah. All the other books are worthless. So let's burn them all. Ali said to him, if you burn all the other books, what other books do we have to compare this Quran to then? If we say Quran is the best book and there's no other book available, what have we got to compare it to? Which is why when our youngsters ask, why did God not send only just one prophet from the beginning of mankind to the end of mankind with only one book? Why did He send Musa with the Torah? Why did He send Jesus with the Injil? Because He wanted to show that after all of this, the Quran is better than the Injil and the Zabur and the Torah. If they weren't there, how can he compare the Quran to these? If he had only sent one prophet, then how could we compare our holy prophet to the other prophets? So you see, there has to be this comparison there. So he said, don't set fire to these books. What are you doing? But this guy, maybe he was a bit crazy because he liked playing with fire. He was a fire starter. And today he came to the door of the Nabuwwah. He came to the best doors. And again, people say, why do we mark cellos whenever you have questions? We say the number 40 is very special in Islam. They also maybe believed in 40 because he brought with him 40 men to the door of Fatima's house. Today, 2 days after the death of her father. This very same door that 2 days ago, when Malak al-Maut came to take the soul of the Prophet, he knocked on the door. Jibreel said to him, Israel, you go and take the soul of anyone with the blink of an eye, less than that. Why here have you knocked on the door? He said, because in this house is Fatima. For the respect of Zahra, I am knocking on the door first, then I will go and take the soul of the Prophet. We don't just enter this house. Yet look at this Mal'un today. He went and he took 40 men with him. He took some fire and burning wood. I wish he knocked on the door. He didn't even knock on the door. Man anta. Who are you? Don't you know we are grieving for our father? Do you not know that we have just lost Rasulullah? We are still mourning for him. Oh Fatima, stop talking like these women talk. I don't want to hear these things. Open the door and tell Ali to come out. Go away, Umar. Go away. We are mourning. Fatima, open the door or I will kick this door in. She asked him nicely for the 3rd time, leave my house. He said, now you heard she's given me no ultimatum. He took the fire, he set the door on fire. Hazrat Zahra was 6 months pregnant. She was behind the door. He kicked the door. The door hit Zahra in the chest. She hit the wall. The door had a very long metal nail. The fire had set fire to this door. This metal nail had become very hot. It pierced the chest of Hazrat Zahra. It pierced near her abdomen. This baby became sick. The blood started to pour out of Zahra's body. Zahra was behind the door. He knocked the door on top of Zahra. Hazrat Zahra fell underneath the door. The door was on fire. 40 men walked into their house. They trampled over Zahra to get into the house. Fatih Khaybar, Amir al-Mu'mineen, is sat in the house. They bring the rope, they bring the sword, they tie up Amir al-Mu'mineen in a rope. Without his turban, without his cloak, without even his slippers, they drag him out of the house onto the street like a dog. But this is Yadullah, his hands are now tied. How hard is it for any man to see his wife being killed in front of his eyes? Yet Ali cannot do anything because he is being told to have patience. His hands are now tied. He is watching these scenes. He is burning from inside. Who else is in the house? Hassan and Hussein. Who else is in the house? Zainabain. When they dragged Amir al-Mu'mineen onto the streets, a Jewish man was walking past that street. He saw Amir al-Mu'mineen, Fatih Khaybar, the man who single-handedly lifted the door at Khaybar. The man single-handedly defeated all the Jews at Khaybar. His hands are tied. He's on the streets in just his nightwear. As soon as he saw this scene, he sat on the ground and he said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, wa ashhadu anna hadha aliyyun waliyullah. One of those people said, what are you saying this? Why are you saying these things? He said, because I was at Khaybar. I saw Ali single-handedly lifted the door of Khaybar. But now I am witnessing Ali with his hand is tied while you are doing this to his wife. This is therefore, Wallah, he is the wali of Allah. He is the righteous guardian of Allah. When Sheikh Abu Zahra saw Imam Hussein in his dream, and he said, Ya Imam Hussein, did they really kill you at Karbala in that way? He said, oh Sheikh Abu Zahra, the way they have mentioned how they killed me is 100% true. But Ya Sheikh Abu Zahra, let me tell you this, at Karbala it was a physical death. They killed my head, they chopped my head off with the sword. But believe me, Ya Sheikh Abu Zahra, I was only 5 years old. I was in the house of my mother Zahra. When those Malul came into the house of Zahra, and I saw the way they treated my mother, wallah, I died on that day in Medina. Sheikh Abu Zahra woke up from the dream and he said, what sort of dream was this? It was maybe nonsense. The next night he went to sleep. He saw Imam Hassan in his dream. He said, Sheikh Abu Zahra, why are you astonished at what Hussein said? Why are you astonished at what Hussein said? On the 27th of Safar, the poison did not kill me. The poison was a physical death. But Ya Sheikh Abu Zahra, the day I died was the day when my hand was in the hand of my mother. We were walking through the streets of Bani Hashim. Those two men came in front of us. The first one said, Fatima, give me the fadak. I said, my mother Zahra said, no, I'm not going to give you the fadak. The second one slapped my mother in such a way that the earring fell off from her ear. Ya Sheikh Abu Zahra, wallahi qasam, I died that day in the streets of Bani Hashim. Zainab al-Kubra was witness to this event. She was only 4 years old. This is why when she came to the body of Hussein on the 11th of Muharram, she said, Ya Hussein, today not only have they killed you, today not only have they killed Zainab spiritually, but Ya Hussein, they killed us on the second day after the death of the Prophet when they entered the house of my mother's house. Allahu Akbar. Maqtal al-Kharazmi has this narrated in there. In Maqtal al-Kharazmi it is said that Imam Hussein on the day of Ashura, when he was covered in the blood, when all the blood was coming from his forehead and his chest, he was cut into so many pieces. He was covered in blood. He turned towards Medina. He said, Ya Rasulallah, today Umar and Abu Bakr have killed me. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين فسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. يا رب فاطمة الزهراء، بحق فاطمة الزهراء، اشف صدور فاطمة، اشف صدر فاطمة الزهراء بظهور الحجة. يا رب المؤمنين، بحق أمير المؤمنين، اشف صدور المؤمنين بظهور الحجة. اللهم صل على فاطمة وعليها وبعلها وبنيها والسر المستودع فيها بعدد ما أحاط به الموت. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.